Hey y'all, welcome back to Moments with Miss Amy. I am so glad you joined me. So today I'm going to talk to you a little bit about what are you planting? Now you may be wondering where in the world is this going to go, and I'm going to start it off actually with my garden. When I went to visit my dad last year, he gave us some blackberry plants and some green onion plants. I love me some green onions, okay? And so, well, I've had them here and I've worked with them. I had them in a pot, had them, different ways trying to grow them. And they were starting out just fine, but it began to be something that they needed to be put into a larger pot. They needed more room to expand, more room to grow. So my husband and I went and bought the supplies for that, and we planted them, and they look amazing. The blackberry bushes are doing incredible. I've actually got like some netting over them to protect them from the birds so they don't steal my berries. And then my green onions, I've got them in this beautiful like trough planter. And that looks amazing. And so what happened on Friday is I had purchased a spearmint plant that I wanted to make some tea this weekend with some friends of mine. We made a special drink. If you've never done some spearmint leaves infused in a drink, so good. But anyway, so I bought this, and so this morning I planted it into a little bit of a larger pot and gave it some fresh soil, and I know it's going to be perking up, especially since we had some beautiful rain today. But it's what got me thinking about, oh my goodness, like a year ago, a little bit longer, I never would have thought about planting around where I'm at. I thought that my beautiful landscape was all that I needed. But then when my dad gave me these plants and I started growing them, and suddenly I'm able to eat from them, I'm able to harvest my own crops from my own plants. Now, y'all, I'm not going to get out there and rototill the field and like start putting corn and potatoes and all that in. But it's really nice to have some of these little things that I enjoy growing out there. And I have the pride and the excitement of I planted them and they are growing. And I'm able to keep an eye on them and weed them and give them a little bit of water when Florida doesn't dump all the water on them. And, just watch how it's growing. And, I started noticing how that feels. To know that something that I'm investing in, I'm investing my time, I'm investing a little bit of energy, I'm investing some care into, and it is turning around and it is giving me a harvest. It's something that I can then take and enjoy and eat. And I started realizing like how many areas in our life are like a garden. It's not just like plants that we have out there, but if you stop and think for just a moment, like relationships. As you meet people, as you make friends, as you pour into them, give them a little bit of the extra sunshine, time with you. Give them a little bit of attention, just like adding the dirt to the plant. Giving them in that relationship some focus, making sure to keep it healthy by paying attention to it. And if you think about it and kind of compare, friends really are like beautiful things in the garden. I mean, yeah, it's not like we're going to walk by and break off a piece of their hair and chew on it, okay? But it is something that you do benefit from growing and growing together. It is something that the more love and attention that you give, whether it's friendship, whether it's a more serious relationship than that, even if it's family, the more that you tend to it, the more that you help it to grow in a positive way, the better it is and the more that you both get out of it. The plant that I'm tending to is growing and being healthy and strong and beautiful. And then it's providing things for me to eat. A friendship that you're pouring into that's getting stronger and more beautiful and is a friendship that gives you that happy feeling, the confidence, the security of knowing that you have this friend who is dear to you that you can depend on and they can depend on you. So when is the last time you looked at relationships in your life like a garden and questioned yourself as to how are you tending that garden? What are you planting? Are you planting positive into your friends and family and your relationships? Or are you planting some weeds and some negativity? Are you kind of leaving it go where they're like drying up and getting all icky? Or are you making sure that they're getting the attention that's needed? Then at the same time, are they doing that back with you? And sometimes if our friends don't realize that they haven't been tending to this friendship and we have, it's been a little one-sided, well, don't just think you should just pull the plant out and toss it away. Maybe it just needs a little bit of pruning. Maybe you need to talk to your friend and say, hey, I kind of feel like this relationship, this friendship is important for both of us. So this is an area that I'm feeling maybe could be improved a little bit. A lot of times we don't even realize life gets so busy. We're rushing around. We're doing so many different things. And we don't even realize that we've neglected that relationship until we look over and see that it's all drying up and just, looking like a plant that's going to keel over. And that's where it's so important to quickly grab a little water, schedule a time to hang out, and just make sure that you are feeding that relationship, feeding that friendship. And also, like I said, if it needs to be reciprocated, make sure that you speak to them about that. Don't let your garden shrivel up. Don't let your friendships fall apart. Make sure that you're pouring into them. And so you are growing the best relationships and the best friendships that you can. Now, there's a scripture, as you know, that goes along with that. So I wanted to share that with you today. So I was looking it up because I know that there's a lot of things in the Bible that talk about a garden. And so one of the scriptures that I found that I really liked was Jeremiah 29:5. Build houses and live in them, and plant gardens and eat their produce. So now, obviously, that can relate to actual houses that you're living in, and it can relate to, the garden with vegetables and plants and produce that you can grow and that you can eat. But you can also take that and kind of tweak it and look at it a little bit. Building houses, building strong relationships around you, making sure that garden is tended, and then eating from the produce. In other words, being able to benefit from these friendships, from these relationships, because you guys all are coming together in a way that you're uplifting and encouraging each other. At least that's the way I look at it. What about you? So, hey, I would love to hear a comment. Let me know what you think about this. Don't forget, if you haven't subscribed already, what's holding you back? Subscribe. Hit that little bell so you'll know when the next video drops. And don't forget to click like. And I want to thank you again for joining me in my garden here with Moments with Miss Amy.